making sure that I'm live and you guys can see me. Okay, I see it says here I'm live, but I'm just gonna double check. So just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so I'm just checking. Let's see, social media, YouTube, wrong YouTube. I have to, yeah, okay, I'm live. I see myself. Um, Perfect. So I think I'm working. Let me just shut the volume. So here we go. Hello, everyone. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Natalie D'Souza. You see, it's telling me that I'm live. Um, and I'll be your host for the next little bit. Today we are going to work with the April kit. Especially, we're going to focus on the color kit. So before we get any further, like I said, I'm Natalie D'Souza. I'm part of the design team. You see my water. I'm going to move it out of the way. Sorry about that. Um, and I am so glad you guys are here. I'm coming to you from Toronto, Canada. It's kind of like really, it's about to rain here, so it's getting really dark. And I hope that, nothing happens because we've had like notifications the entire morning about the Wi-Fi going like all over Canada in different parts. So hopefully it works out for us. So I know that it's lunchtime for me. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, but for some of you, it might be later on or early in the morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know where you're watching from. Um, and like I said, today we're gonna work a layout, work with the I just forgot. See, my brain just went somewhere else. With the April kit. And I have quite a bit to do, especially because I have to work, the background with it. So I am going to take 2 minutes to just make sure that you guys can see me and everything's working. But I'm going to flip the camera because we're going to need time with drawing up the background. So I'm going to flip the camera right now. I'm going to tie my hair and hopefully that gives some time, like, for anybody that's going to be here to catch us up. And then one of the things is I am not ignoring you. In case you think I'm ignoring you, I am not. The only thing is that I flip the camera, so I'm not able to read comments in case they come in. So just be mindful of that. Like I said, I am not ignoring you. It's gonna be hard for me to man the two cameras. So I have my things here. I'm just gonna step to the right because I forgot to get my paper trimmer, but I have it here. I live in an apartment, so my workstation is my dining room table, and my things are to the left and the right of me. So it takes just a few steps. So, like I said, today we're going to be working with the April kit. I have everything here, and I have the color kit right next to me. So I'm going to move stuff around because, like I said, we are going to need, I'm going to say, it's not a complicated design, but it's going to take some time to dry. And I want to make sure that you guys see everything before I, sign off. So this month's color kit came with this stencil, which is the modern floral quilt stencil. And it creates like kind of like has a floral design on the background. So I want to take advantage of this. And I also have the three colors of Lindy's Gang. I have the magical shaker. This is under this is the jellyfish sting pink. And I believe this is a magical shaker, so it has a little bit of a shine to it. This one here is Magical Satin Sapphire, and this one had a lot of shine. And this one here is the Magical Blingy Blonde, and this one had it had different colors. So I want to use some of this to create my background with this. And I wanted to take advantage of a few of the things from this kit. And because, like I said, it's going to be a lot based on especially these magical powders, which is the color kit for this month. I'm going to start with the background because I want to give it some time to dry up. So my idea is to go for something, I would say kind of neutral, more towards the masculine side of a layout. That means that it's actually my nephew's birthday pictures. You're gonna see, I'm gonna bring them. I have them here. So I wanted to go with something that wasn't as floral, but using some of the stuff that's here. And there's nothing wrong with putting flowers into a boy's layout. Nothing wrong with it. But I do wanted to make it a little bit more masculine. I know that we get a lot of requests, or especially when I not when I do lives, but I talk to people outside of this, and one of the things they always ask is oh, can you show us how to do a boy layout? So we're gonna work on a boy layout using the stuff. And like I said, you don't have to make it let me move the picture. You don't have to use flowers. If it's up to you, you can use them. That's completely, that works fine. So let me just pull out a piece of paper. I'm using heavy cardstock. This is Vicky Boots foundation paper. It's my preferred paper for creating or using for mixed media. It's like 140 pounds. It's like super heavy. And most of it has like a coating, so I'm able to work with it. So my idea is, first of all, I'm going to trim it. I want to make it a bit, I'm not going to trim it now, but I'm going to trim it after. That's what I came did. And my idea is I have my pictures. Okay. So I am going to use this. This side here is the hoop and stitch plate. And if you have an accent, it's because I'm from Ecuador. So there's an accent when I speak. I speak Spanish at home. So hoop and stitch plate. So I've cut a few of them. And my idea is to have them kind of coming down the page. So I'm going to have three. So you're going to see that I'm going to show you how I worked all of this out. But for now, I want to just show you what I have in mind. So I have some here. Okay. And just move this out of the way. Like I said, I need to work the background before, like, I go any further. So I'll have my hoops kind of in a row like this. Okay. So I could have picture here, title at the bottom. It doesn't really matter. I just know that I want to have them in this formation. Okay. So you're going to see that most likely I am going to trim my paper too. So the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to mark my background. So what I'm going to move them a little bit because I don't want it to be so symmetrical. Okay. So the best way to do that is, and the reason why I'm doing is because I don't want to overdo on the mixed media. You don't have to fill up the entire page. There's ways of cheating mixed media that are not going to damage your paper. So I am setting my kind of the idea where they're going to sit, mostly because then it's going to give me the foundation of where my mixed media is going to sit. So I'm going to set them there and like lightly with a pencil, draw the circumference. So it kind of marks where, like, everything is going to sit. And like, don't worry, like go lightly, you can always erase. But when you add the mixed media, a lot of it is going to be hidden. You don't have to super, like, mark your pencil, just lightly. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure. And I was thinking about stitching, and it's hard to create stitching online, like, when you're doing a live, because stitching takes a little bit longer, like, to work around. So I thought of a different idea with this. So I have this. So I have my three circles. I don't know if you can see them. It's hard with the light, but I have them here. 1, 2, and 3. Now, for the colors, I wanted to go with something, I would say not even rainbow, but just like a color gradation based on the colors that you have on the kit. So I decided to go with orange. I have a green. Let me see, like I already cut it. I'm going to show you, it's here. So I'm going to just pull it out so you see it. And I use this, the cardstock paper for this and the blue. So it kind of gives you that, like that kind of masculine palette. So you're going to see I have my 3 little hoops here. And I'll tell you the names after when we get it. But you see like orange, green, and blue. The colors that you have here are like, because I already created something else with it. So I'm going to show you. It has this yellow. That is the blingy blonde. Then you have this pink, which is the jellyfish sting pink. And then you have this kind of tealish, and that's the Sassy Sapphire. So those are the 3 tones that come in your color kit. So I'm going to take advantage of that to show you how I created this and how, like, like I said, it's going to be very focused on the color kit today. So I've marked where everything is going to sit. I'm just going to clean my surface a little bit because we're going to need space right now. I have, let me just mark that here. I have a palette here. It's just like a heavy plastic here. I have my powders. I have a little like tool. This is from like my, what is the name of that? My Silhouette or my Cricut, whatever you have. It's just the one they use to weed stuff, but it helps me with, like, with the powders. I have my, oh my God, what's the name of this? My brush, some water. I have also, let me just reach for it. I have some baby wipes. And the only thing that I forgot to bring is paper towels, but I have tissues handy on the side here. So what I wanted to remember, I have orange. So I'm going to just write because then I'm going to forget to orange, green, and blue. So I want to create, like I said, don't think of it as a rainbow, but think of it as just a gradation of color. So my idea is I'm going to start by creating color. So I'm going to go with a little bit of the blinky blonde. Actually, yeah, a little bit. So pink is something that I am going to use, but I'm going to tone it down a bit. I'm going to go more for the yellow and oranges, and I'm not a yellow person. I think I've said it before. So just a little bit is going to go quite away. Okay. You don't gonna need much. You are going to need though for this, like either watercolor paper or some paper that has been treated with yellow, or like something that's gonna hold to really a lot of that, not damage, a lot of it's not gonna soak up paper. So regular cardstock or even the paper in the cardstock kit, and it's going to buckle quite a bit if you create this. So my best advice is look for either watercolor paper, or if you have just regular cardstock, then you might consider treating it with a little bit of yesto, or go for like a heavy mixed media paper. So all I'm going to do is just a little bit of water to this, and I'm just going to like kind of make it swim there. Okay, I'm going to use my little palette to mix it, and you're going to see it blooms to like different tones, and that works for me. Okay? So it's not gonna stay as like a bright yellow. It kind of gives you like this greenish tone. I move it to the side. Remember where I have my orange? So I'm gonna just kind of create a little bit of a gradient. So you could use a brush. You can use many different things. Today we're going to use makeup sponge. I have some makeup sponges here. Not a lot of few. Yeah, I got this from the dollar store, so not big, like, I didn't go like to any, nothing out of the ordinary. I'm gonna cut them small because I don't need them that big. Because I wanna drop the ink, like I wanna be able to drop the ink, or in this case, the watercolor, like, as I choose. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit, and I'm just remember where the circle is at. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of drop it. You're gonna see that I'm gonna tap on it. Okay, so you're gonna lift it so you see it. It's gonna be super light. So that means that I can go a few times over it to create the tone that I'm looking for. So just so you see it, okay? So I'm able to, this is a lot of bling, so I'm able to like tap, let it dry, and then go back to apply extra. You're gonna see I'm just lightly applying. I have some yellow. Remember, I have my green over here. So I'm gonna switch into some yellow over here too. And it's okay if I go into the circle. I just don't want to like, fill the entire page. So creating the circles on the background is going to give you like a good, what is it? Like just an idea where everything is going to sit. So you don't have to like, overwork your paper. And by using like a makeup sponge in this case, I am not rubbing the paper. It sounds like, I don't know if that, I don't know how to explain. Just when you wrap the paper, you tend to peel the paper. So by just like dabbing the color, it's just gonna help you to not like, peel the paper. And we're gonna hope and pray that it doesn't, and I'm really serious, that it doesn't buckle that much. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of orange. It's a lot of bling in this, a little bit of yellow, sorry. So think of it as just creating the base. And I don't want it super heavy. I'm not a yellow person. So I know I have a few friends that always say, like, you have to use more yellow. And you're right. I should. Um, Not my favorite color. So I'm just trying to match it up to the back. There we go. I'm just gonna move it up a little bit. And that's the beauty of this stencil, is that it repeats. So I'm able to extend it a bit more. So all I'm doing is just kind of extending the design. And whatever's left over the on the oh my god, name of the sponge, that's okay. I don't want to like, a lot of color. If I want to, I am going to add more. So you're gonna see it's light, not that much. I am hoping and praying that it's gonna dry. So like I said, this is the first stage. So on the yellow that I have there, I need this part to be orange, and then so I'm gonna add a little bit of the jellyfish sting. So just a little bit, because this one is like really like magenta, kind of pinkish. So I'm gonna add some water here. And have some of the yellow over there. I'm gonna use the same sponge because it has some of the yellow there. So I'm hoping and praying that it changes color. Okay, I think it did. So I'm gonna come here, gonna set my stencil. Sorry, my nose got itchy right there for 2 seconds. I thought I was going to sneeze. It's like spring is happening here in Toronto, so that means that allergy season is like really high. And before coming to Canada, I never had allergies back home in Ecuador. Never. Like, allergies is something that you don't consider. But once I got to Canada, allergies are something that it happens on a regular basis in my house. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna drop on more color here. I'm going to make more color. I think I need more, and I'm gonna switch the. I'm gonna get a little bit of yellow, not too much, and I already have some of the pink there. You're gonna see my finger because I've tried this before. You're gonna see that my fingers are a little bit have color in it. Oh, so it's because I worked this idea before, just on a piece of paper, just to make sure that my idea worked. So I'm just adding a little bit, not too much. A little bit extra water just to move the colors. And you're gonna see. Okay. So get another sponge, maybe a little bit extra water. So you can see creates that orangey tone that I'm looking for. Again, I'm just gonna dab the color. Okay. So you're gonna see. And it's okay. I'm trying not to pick up a lot of color too, because a lot of water, because then it's gonna seep under it. I'm gonna say seep because that's the right way. So I'm gonna dry it with the back of it. I don't want it to like, be all over the place. I want it to be where I put it. So I'm trying this up a bit. I do want to make it darker. And the beauty of using your makeup sponges that you can go over it, because you're not rubbing hardly with like either a brush or even trying to think because I was gonna pull it up today. A roller. So you're not moving the fibers of the paper that much. So but just like adding some of the color, you just like kind of think of it as kind of stamping it. Okay, so that's pretty much what I am hoping is going to look like. And that's one of the keys of not adding too much water, because then, let me get a piece of tissue, because you don't want it to muddle that much. But then if it does muddle like it did here, don't get like disappointed. There's ways of fixing it. It's just a matter of setting up the stencil in place. So I'm gonna go and just kind of deepen some of the color. And what I'm going to do is we're gonna play a little bit with this. Gonna add a little bit more pink to that. Not that much water, just a little bit. I try to pick up the pink and just kind of go in some areas there. Some of the gold on top. I'm just trying to deepen the orange. Okay. So gonna get into more of a pure bit of the powder. Okay. See, the orange is gonna look like kind of flecky, and that's okay. There's little flecks of the powder, that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna move the stencil a little bit higher. Let's see here, make sure that it matches. There you go. Add a little bit of water here. And like I said, this is like, you gotta have patience to create this. Let's try it up. And if it's okay if I like a little bit, like kind of moves around behind the stencil, that's fine. Because then it's gonna give you that water color look, which works fine for this. Okay, but you want like a light tone. If you want to make it darker, you're just gonna have to let it dry and come back again and like make like add a second layer, which is probably what we're going to do. But I don't mind that actually. I like it. If you can see it. Okay, just wanna clean up the background here. It's gonna make a match. And I keep missing this part. Okay, I see it here. I'm gonna go with the one that I had before that had the yellow, and I'm gonna go on top of that pink that I have there. It has quite a bit of I was gonna say ink, but kind of watercolor. So I'm just kind of pounding a little bit there, just to deepen the color. Okay, so I'm gonna move it a bit. Yeah, I like that. So I'm gonna move it my stencil a bit more here, higher. It's because I think it needs a little bit here. I'm gonna get some of that yellow. And you see those little flecks of pink? I'm okay with that. It's just a softer and an easier way to add the color. So you're gonna see. Okay. Now I'm going to clean my the back of my stencil. Like I said, I have here some it's no paper towel, it's a baby wipe. Okay, so I'm gonna clean it up, let it dry for a little bit. I am going to clean my surface here because I have quite a bit of pink. I don't need pink right now. And I'm gonna go with a little bit. I'm gonna set my little sponges to the side. Like I said, go to the dollar store for this. You don't need like super good ones. You just need quite a few. The color, because you're using water, it is going to like soak into the sponge. So consider like disposable ones. And then I am gonna mix a little bit of the sassy sapphire here, just because I want to get to a green. Okay. Let's put this aside. And there's quite a bit of bling on this too. So let me get another here, cut it in half, get my stencil again. If you see my table, you'll be like, oh my God, the mess. And it's gonna get messy. But like I said, I need this to dry before we can move forward. Then the rest is gonna be, we're gonna keep it pretty simple, but I wanna show you how this works. So I have green here, some of this. Okay, so we're gonna go at it. Okay, you don't need much, remember. Right now I'm just adding green to some of the yellow just to create a transformation of colors. And I'm trying not to add a lot of water so the design at the back doesn't get like, doesn't get mottled, but all you have to do is lightly lift it up and dry it up. That. Some of that green. And if you see the blue, that's okay. I'm okay with that one. So I'm just looking at where the green is at, and I'm just adding the color there. We're moving it a lot. That's fine. I'm gonna add a little bit more water here. Keep going at it. So I'm just like I said, you hear it? I don't know if you can hear. I'm just tapping the color on right now. Okay. So you're gonna see the design is not gonna be like I said, it's not gonna be that deep or like that detail. For now, I'm just adding the first application, kind of just creating the contour of my circles where I want everything to sit. Think of it as the first base. And that's what probably using like a sponge is the best idea just because it's going to help you control the water. Okay. If you don't have a sponge, you can use a brush if you want to. I just want to be careful. Okay. Just going to be very careful. So let me see. Perfect. Just going to expand it a bit here. Okay. Remember here too. Okay, so let's see. And if you can see it, I think I need to deepen the green there. So I'm gonna just move I'm gonna dry it on the back. There's some color. Just a paper towel. In this case, I have tissue because I forgot to bring the paper towel from the kitchen. And it is like 2 steps away, but I don't want to move right now because I know that I have to speed through this. So I'm gonna deepen the green in this area here. Okay, I'm gonna go with a little bit of extra blue here, just to deepen the color. And the sponge is gonna soak up a lot of the liquid. So just be careful when you start like, pressing again. So there you go. I don't know if you can see it. Slightly changing the color and I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna move my stencil down here a bit. And what I'm going to add here in this area is I'm gonna go a little bit more with the sassy sapphire, kind of on the more on the pure tone. Okay, so I want that bluish tone, kind of tealish, to move as you go along down the line of the design. In this case, gonna get a different have my little a different one here, and then you're gonna see. Here we go. So I'm gonna move the blue towards the top, and I'm just tapping here a bit. Get a little bit of extra water here. Go. Again, the sponge is going to soak up quite a bit of the liquid, but you're going to see when I lift it. This here is getting muddy, so there's extra water. There we go. So just be mindful of this part here. It is not going to be like a perfect water. And I want something that looks broken on the background. Okay. So I don't want it to be like super, the word is not concentrated, but I do want it to have that watercolor kind of look. Still have some of the design of the stencil, and we are going to deepen the color in a bit. We're just giving it kind of the first base coat. Think of it that way. So if you can see it, okay, I'm gonna move it over here. I'm gonna dry the back of my stencil. So I said this part is gonna take us probably the longest. Get a bit extra water here. Just go. We're gonna go at it. Move it in between here, the two frames, or the two circles. There's a little space in between there. It is going to probably disappear once I have, like, the extra stuff. I'm giving it a little bit of a twist just to deepen the tone there, because I just realized that I had quite a bit of powder. So I'm gonna go with a little bit of the water just to move the powder a bit. So I'm just kind of like pressing a little bit and rubbing it a tiny bit just to move the color around a bit. Move it down here. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, I have the circles. I'm gonna clean up the back of my stencil. I'm gonna move down here. I see the circle there. And what I'm going to add here that I couldn't find like a deep blue is I'm gonna add a little bit to this teal. I'm gonna add extra water. It's like a blue teal. I'm gonna add a little bit of the pink, the jellyfish stink pink. Just a tiny bit. And it's gonna give you like a purple tone that kind of looks like blue. Okay, I play with this, so you're gonna see. Move, I'm gonna need another sponge. I'm gonna let it sit there so the colors mix a little bit. My fingers are really like painted. That's the word to use it. Let's trim a bit of this. I don't need a lot. Okay, so you're gonna see it's kind of like give me like this like purple tone, and that's okay because I need to get to like a blue. So we're gonna go at it. It's the closest that I could get to like a darkish blue using these three powders. So just dabbing a bit here. I'm gonna dab over here. I'm hoping that I move the stencil to the right place. Let me see. Right there. So the circle's there, I can see it. I'm gonna have to create more. The only thing about the sponges is that I can show you, like if you want to use a brush, you can go with a brush too, and I had yellow in it. So not a smart move. See, if I wanted to use a brush in case you don't have a sponge, you can go like that too. But I'm not going to like rub it. I'm just kind of like depositing the ink. And you're gonna see that when I use my brush, because I have like little bristles, it kind of moves the ink. And I keep saying ink, but the water behind the stencil. And that's probably something that you can control better with the sponge. So note to self not to use like the brush that much. But I'm going to just to show you, like I'm just gonna tap. It's easier to do it with this, even though it sucks up a lot of the liquid. And I have to keep building more color. That's it. But we're getting there. But by using also the what's the name? the sponge, it gives you the, like, it gives you the way to make this look as if it's a broken background. So think about, like, give you that, what is the word I'm trying to find? Very, like, painterly look. That's the best one. There you go. I'm gonna move this around a bit to create that kind of purple bluish tone that I'm trying to get to. And I could go get, like, a different color kit, but I wanted to use that you can create some of the tones with this kit. This is the April. This is the color kit from the April, from the month of April from May. So you're gonna see a little bit, that's fine. It's gonna add some water to the blue. The mic is gonna stay in the brush, in the sponge. I'm gonna show you in 2 seconds. That's fine. Just gonna move it down here. I'm gonna dry the back of this. Gonna line it up a bit. Mix this well. It's quite a bit of mica between the pink and the tealish bluish tone. So I'm gonna show you my sponges in a bit so you see. Quite a bit there. Some water just to clean that area. At the back of your stencil, because there's quite a bit of water there. Let's try to get some of that red on top here so you get that purple. Not purple, but like I said, I'm trying to get to blue with just the three tone. The best that I can. There we go. So I'm gonna dry this up for now. I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. See this line? That's okay. So you see the stencil and you see the definition of the stencil and you see a bit of color, and that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna let it dry for a little bit. We're gonna have to come back to it. So I'm gonna let it dry for a bit. And while that's drying, because we need to add more to it. Okay, so I'm gonna use what's left over here to show you how I created some things for this. And because I'm using the embroidery hoops, I thought that the best thing that I can use to help me with the design was this. This is the embroidery floss bobbin die set. So I needed to create kind of my floss with this. So what I did is I just added water, and I've done it before. So just whatever's left over here, I'm gonna play with that. And I took a piece of I like added some of the powder, added some water. I am using watercolor paper. So I have a piece of watercolor paper here, trying to make sure that nothing goes like in. And all I did was like, just kind of run the watercolor paper there. Okay? So just to create some of the colors. You see? That's pretty much what I did to create my floss. And I just let it dry. So that's what I say. My fingers are really like colorful since like if I took a shower. So I'm gonna set this to the side because I'm gonna need this again. And here are the colors that I created. This is Blingy Blonde by itself. I'm just gonna move stuff so you guys can see better. This one here is just the pink. And this one here is the Sassy Sapphire. This one here is the combination of the Blingy Blonde and the pink one. This one here is the combination of these two, the pink and the sapphire. Like I said, I play with the colors ahead of time. And I added a little bit of this with the Bling Blonde to create this green. So those are the three tones that I created. Just like I said, I just created the liquid, flipped my paper. I'm using watercolor and I just kind of dab it on it and let it dry. Once it dried, I just went ahead and die cut the pieces. You're gonna see I have one here that I have to build. And the way I'm gonna move, so you see more or less what it looks like. Like I said, yellow, pink, and the sapphire. and then I combine yellow and the pink to get the orange, and then the pink and this kind of teal to create this blue kind of purplish tone, and then some of the sapphire with the yellow to create this green. So it kind of gives me the gradation. I am gonna add some pink to this, stash it behind it, because I think it's a nice color to help you with the transition, especially between the yellow and the orange. And then I went ahead, once it dried, I went ahead and cut everything using my embroidery floss bobbin die set. I used these 4 pieces to cut them here. You're gonna see 4. And I cut all the little I'm gonna say the backings out of white cardstock, heavy white cardstock. So I have it here. And let me just glue it. Let me put this back. Knowing me, I'll probably lose it. I am going to just stick it together. And then what did I do? You see, I'm just like, oh, here it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and the first one, and you can, like, there's different ways to building this up. You are going to need like a thin tip glue bottle or whatever you use. And the first one just, it goes from edge to edge. And I found that it was easier to get the first one to be the one that has like the more compact look. And this one here, it just kind of build up. It's not gonna look like it's a full bobbin. It's just gonna look like there's like you've been stitching and there's pieces of it like coming off. So I move this one, kind of create the top of it, and just gonna layer. Okay, and you're gonna see that you see the 2 tones here of the orange. I'm gonna move this once I get like my background ready. I'm gonna move it closer and I'll show it to you. But for now, let me just kind of build this up, and then I'll get it closer to the camera so you guys can see it. All I did is just like build this up. Let's see, that one going this way, so I'm gonna put the opposite way. Kind of move it right there on top of it. Now, and just kind of press. Now there is a tail that's gonna help you define, which way it's going. I haven't glued those until I add them to my layout. So I'm just gonna set it aside and then just, work it once I put it on my layout. So let's go back to the layout. I'm gonna show you. Sorry, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I said. See, there's different tones. There's a little bit of yellow, there's some orange, there's some pink. So I thought it was a great way to show the gradation in the background too with this. So I have it there. Let's see. And then I'm gonna show you all the colors that I have. I have all the colors cut up and set up there. So I'm gonna go back into my layout. There's not that much water, so it's not that warped. But I need to extend it a bit more. I'm looking at it and going, okay, I know where I need to do. So I'm gonna add a bit of water here. Remember, I have that blue and that kind of creating that tealish look. Let's start with that little piece down there. Just gonna find the design. Here, let's go on this side especially. And where's my little piece here? There you go. And I pick up some of this and I just kind of deepen the color a bit. So a second layer and kind of stretch it a bit more. Okay. Lift it up, it's gonna give you that, like I said, think of it as like a watercolor look on the background. That's okay. You want some of the definition of the stencil to show up, but you want it to look like watercolor too at the same time. So there you go. Just to extend the look. The key here is when you move your stencil, dry the back of it so the water that's like, kind of filter underneath doesn't move around that much. Again, match the stencil in this way. I see it here. It's gonna add some more. You're gonna see that here I have a little bit extra water, so it's kind of giving me that watercolor look, and that's okay because I want to kind of extend the design a bit. Okay. Again, dry the back. You're gonna see. I'm gonna show you. Still has a bit of definition, but it kind of looks like it's broken, and that's okay. That's what you want. So I'm gonna go in this area. gonna dry the back of my stencil here. Going to kind of match it to the background here. Let me see where I am. I see myself here. So I'm gonna use this little bit of blue that I have here and kind of stretch it here. See, I'm being careful where I'm placing everything here, just so that I don't fill up the entire page, just the area that I want to point out to, or that I want to, like, to highlight just a little bit. Again, I'm going to press a little bit, so a little bit of water just kind of seeps underneath. So when I lift it, it creates kind of that watercolory look. See? And if it's too much, just go ahead and dry a bit. Okay? But it's super faint, and that works for me. So I do want that kind of broken watercolor look on the background. So again, I'm going to move my stencil up here, center where I need it to be. You can see right there. I'm going to clean my palette. I'm going to get a little bit of the yellow, just a tiny bit. I'm going to clean my little. A little bit of the pink, because I want to create that orange. And these two colors are very strong. So a little bit is going to go quite a bit, quite a way. Let me just press this, just in case, and water. Little palette here. I have my brush here. And again, second coat. I just want to deepen the orange a bit. And you're going to see that I'm going to go a little bit like with some extra water, just because I want to create that watercolor look on the background. So if the water kind of seeps underneath, I'm okay with that. Okay? You're going to see in 2 seconds when I lift it up, that some of the areas are going to look like a watercolor a bit. And that's okay. Okay? Here we go. There's a bit here. I'm going to dry a bit here. I'm going to go underneath here a bit. We just kind of find the design here. Whatever's left over, I'm just going to squish here. It's kind of squishing a bit here. There we go. Move over here. Kind of just give it up, bring a little bit of that orange onto this side. Not a lot, just a little bit, just to make sure that it helps with the transition. So just a little bit, okay? There we go. That's it. I think I'm going to go with a little bit of extra blue down here. I like it. So I'm going to clean up. I'm going to take my brushes. This has to be washed after. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of splatters. And we're going to let that dry until we work on the next part. So a little bit of the pink. I have some yellow there. So I'm going to pull out my brush where I don't know where I put it. Over here. Make sure that there we go. So I have some of that. Just a little bit. Not too much. Okay. Well, see that. I'm going to go with the green, so I'm going to just move it a bit here. Let me see if I can just add a little bit of the yellow here. And then we got to let this dry for a bit. So that's why I'm trying to speed up through this part. I see some here that I think I'm going to kind of make this bigger. So I'm just going to add extra water. So here, it's going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, let's clean up my brush. I have some yellow here. Get some water. I'm just going to go with plain yellow. The greenish tone that I'm looking for. Because the yellow, this yellow here has like two different powders in it. So there's a little bit of orange, like red mica in it, and also green. So blue, sorry. So it gives you like this greenish tone, which is fine with me. So let that dry. I'm dry my brush here. I'm gonna add some of the blue down here. See, I'm gonna clean my palette here. You don't need much. So let's get some water. Some of the blue. Or green, but so I'm gonna move a little bit of this green over here and see if you can see. I'm gonna put some of this. Add some extra water. There we go. Get a little bit more over here, kind of like transition colors. Mix them together. Okay. Clean my brush. Get some of this blue here. Well, it's kind of tealy, like I said. Let's move it here too. Okay, so clean my, I just, there in my table. See how we do it. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of the pink from here to the side here. I'll show you in 2 seconds. I'm gonna move the thing so you guys can see it. There we go. There you go. See the deep kind of purple? That's what I was hoping to get. I'm just gonna. Okay, we're almost there. And now we're gonna set it aside and let it dry because it needs to get a little bit of the extra. Just the pink by itself up here. Just so like in between these two, there's like a little bit of something that ties them together because I have the purple. I'm gonna just kind of spreading it a bit. So there we go. Okay, so I have my background ready. I'm gonna get it closer so you see it. So you can see the definition of the stencil. You see the splatters too. And you see that brokenness on the background, looks like watercolor. That's what we're going for. And you created that with just with the powders and the stencil. So that's all you need. You're gonna set that aside. I'm gonna clean up my table a little bit, and then we're gonna come back and build this up. So it's just, I'm like, well, we're live, so there's not much that I can turn off the camera and go. So I'm just going to, with the baby wipe, just dry this up because I'm not gonna need no more. And like I said, you're gonna need just a little bit. Okay, you don't need a ton. I get all of this out of the way. Clean the area. Have some garbage on the side here. Let me get a little bit of water. It's dry. We don't need this. And I'm gonna get it closer so you guys can see. I don't need the sponges no more. I'm waiting for my watercolor to dry till we do this. I'm gonna get back to this. And there's some areas that the water is like kind of like sitting there. I want to speed this up, so I'm gonna just kind of soak up. I'm not rubbing, I'm just like dabbing on it. So literally just soaking up the excess water. And it's super shiny, which is so cool. Okay. See, you create that broken watercolor look, which is what we're going for. Okay, let's cut the top. I was thinking about like, what's the name, framing this with something, but I think I'm gonna leave it as is because I like it the way it is. Again, you're gonna need heavy watercolor paper, and some heavy cardstock. And if you don't have that in just regular cardstock, then you wanna add some yeso because it is gonna warp. Even though I'm using like, heavy cardstock, and there's a little bit of warping. And because I'm gonna speed up this right now, a little bit more noticeable. So it's here. I'm gonna set it aside, let it dry, and we're gonna work on the rest of the layout. So you see we're doing on time, we're doing perfect. So I have my little bobbin. Now I have here my hoops. Like I said, I cut like, 3 of them. I cut one. I'm going to show you the colors. Let me just move my kit to the top because now I need it. The colors that I use for my back of my fingers are like all full of ink right now. So I gotta be careful. Are this. I use Liberty for the blue. I use Thrive for the mint kind of greenish and Playful for the orange. So those are the 3 colors that I cut the hoops. Let me just put this away. Right here. And I cut all of this using, let me just pull it off so you see it. I use the hook and stitch plate. See, I have one here. And my nails are like all full of paint. So just ignore. I'm gonna get the camera closer so you guys can see that. There we go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I cut 2 of heavy white cardstock and I'm gonna glue them together because I wanted to create something that was a little bit sturdier, something that was a little bit thicker, so there was some dimension to this. So the best way to do it is cutting it a few times, or if you have like foam, craft foam that you can cut, go ahead. I just using cardstock. You don't have to do this, like add these extra cardstock pieces. If you don't want something that is so dimensional, you can avoid this part. This is the optional part of the design. Okay, but I like this, so I like the fact that there's some dimension, especially because I'm going to use 2 of these frames to actually back my pictures. So I just stack them together, just pressing so it doesn't, okay, I have the 3 of them. And then I, like the little top, I did 2 of them. I don't know which way I'm going to glue that one yet. But here we go. Background still a little bit damp, so I'm just going to carefully start setting everything up, okay, just because I want to see what it looks like. Remember, orange, green. So this one, I just want to see this one's going to go this way, and blue. Okay. So I know which way I can set this up, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it. Okay, go this second. My fingers are blue and green and yellow and orange and all the colors of the. Okay, so I have a little bit extra glue. I'm just cleaning it up. And let it dry there. Don't move. Okay, let it dry. So all I need to know right now is where I'm going to put my pictures. And like I said, this is going to be, it's not going to be super complicated because I don't want to lose the background. Okay, and I don't want to, so I have my pictures here. There we go. Okay, so I think I'm going to put my photos close to each other. So I want to use the orange for the one and the green one for the other one. And then my title is going to be down here. So let's move this out of the way. Let's do this drawing for now, and we're going to go at it. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this in half. And the center of this circle is around bigger than 3 inches. And I'm okay if it has some white space. I sized them to around 3¼ but I think I should have made them bigger because I have a border to them. But that's okay. It's going to help me because I need to add things to the side of this. So you're going to see. Remember those bobbins that I created? I want to add them to the side. And that's why having that little bit of extra white space, it actually helps me. Okay. And so I'm going to actually go ahead and glue this. And that's my mom with my son and my niece and nephew. So I'm just going to glue this to the back. I'm doing great on time. And like I said, I'm going to leave a little bit of extra space to the left. because I have a lot of the mixed media, like the what I added on the left. So here we go. I'm gonna let it dry. Now on the green to the right. So I'm gonna make sure that I see my, I don't want to cut my brother-in-law's head that much. So this way. Let that dry. This one here is gonna hold my title, so I have like the empty white cards up there. So that works for now. Now that I have my pictures, I'm gonna go ahead and trim them. Look, that's the beauty of mixed media. See, my fingers are all like blue and green, and my nails. I'm gonna have to. I don't know what you use to wash your hands. Soap works fine, but like sometimes, like it's like really like your fingers are like really inky. Then a little bit of cream helps, at least for me. So I go use like heavy duty hand cream, and that kind of cleans up anything that's left over. Or hand sanitizer too, sometimes. There we go. You can cut the picture too if you want to using the die. Just whenever you like, do that, just be careful. Add like a piece of vellum between the die and the plate because the plates are sometimes scratched from whatever you cut before. So then it can leave the scratch marks on your photo. That's what I prefer to back my picture onto in this case the hoops directly instead of like the middle step. So here we go. My card is not completely dry, but for the sake of this, we're gonna consider that just taking a tissue, okay? So of any excess you're gonna see, I'm not, going like that. I'm just pressing on it. So any water that's like, still floating comes up. There's a little bit still, not that much. And if I wanted this to be completely like flat, which is, there's a little bit of warp, I would have left it dry overnight. But for the sake of it, I love the background. I can tell you that much. I love the background. So there you go, green, orange, and blue. I can even move the blue a bit more so the background shows. Okay? Love, like literally love. Okay, so one of the things you gotta keep in mind is that any mixed media makes things slippery. So whatever pieces you save, I save like my negative pieces. It'd be nice if you actually add one of the pieces to the back of your photo, which is what I'm gonna do right now. First of all, it's going to give you some dimension. Second one is going to protect your picture from, the paint in this case. But you are going to need heavy glue when you add anything to it. Because mixed media makes things a little bit on the slippery side. I'm moving it more to the right. Just because I like what it's, and remember, I'm going to cover some of it with the bobbin. So some weight in it. So it sets to the background. Same thing for the green. I did save the negative pieces. So here we go. Some glue there. Yeah. And again, glue. And I'm going to actually set it in place. I'm going to move it a little bit lower. Just making sure that, okay, move this down here, add some weight. I don't know where I put it. And this one here, I'm just going to glue the outside of it. Okay. And the glue is coming like a lot at once. I removed the little thin tip because I was, there we go. I don't know where I put the pin. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we're gonna glue the last frame to the bottom, and that's where our title is gonna be. Again, remember, some of it is gonna be hidden, so just, even though the word blue shows there, it's not gonna show at the end. So I'm just gonna put this to add some weight so it stays nice and flat. One of the things that I don't know if you realize is that the chipboard pieces that come in the embellishment kit actually fit in within the circles here. So, see my title if I wanted it to, or I can go with something else. So I'm just trying to find one that I like. I do like this. I think it's too busy. I want something that is not as busy. So I might go with something just like, just trying to see. Yeah, like kind of like this because it picks up the colors. Or I can just go, I actually saved, like I said, the negatives, which I'm starting to like. Okay, so we are happy to here. Now let's go with our little sorry, just orange. And I didn't glue this yet. And then I have some yellow. Actually, I'm gonna add some pink here probably. Let's see. Green. Okay, so this one just kind of matches there. Supposed to, it can go anyway, so I didn't glue it because my idea was to kind of stash it behind it. And I want to add this tealish one here. And I'm going to go the other way. So just kind of be creative with where you add this one. See? I like the way it's looking. So the blue, so the yellow is going to be up here, sorry. So let's start gluing these things. I'm still talking. So a little bit of glue underneath. There's quite a bit of spaces that you can tuck this in. So just, I'm going to tuck it this way, orange. And I think I want to tuck the yellow one up here. So the yellow one, I want it to go kind of going this way. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue back here. And the tails was the last thing I'm adding because I wanted to make sure, like, once everything was in place, I knew where everything was going to go. So go see. Okay, because it's going to be hidden, I'm going to do a little bit of cheating. I don't want it to cover my mom's face. There you go. Okay, I like that. Let's go with the green. Again, this is available in the shop, and this is from the April kit. Everything that I'm using today, besides the background, like the white cardstock, that is for my stash. But everything else is from the April kit. So in case you bought, like, the color kit and didn't know what to do, this is an idea for you. How to create like a watercolory look for your background. Just move this higher a bit. Remember, you can cheat with this part because some of it's going to be kind of tucked on top of the other. Here you go. I'm thinking like that. Okay, then the purple, I want to put it here and here. Okay, so I'm not going to glue those yet until, well, actually, yes, because I know which way it's going to go. So I'm going to add a bit of glue behind here. You're not going to need much. You don't want to cover a lot of the background. You did all that work. I'm a firm believer that if you did like a lot of mixed media or even a little bit, you want to be very, what is the word I'm trying to find? Careful. You may want to plan your project a little bit extra just because you don't want to hide everything that you created. Okay, you put all that effort, you're working with it. You don't want to, like, I'm going to put the pink, not purple, underneath. You don't want to hide all of it. And I think this is an example of it. It's like you created the background, it's working, like, with the layout, is working, actually works nicely here. See, you don't want to hide it. And then you don't need much after that. Like literally, you're not going to need much. You're going to need very little because you already have a lot going on. So you can either add my lines, which I can add my title here too. So I'm just looking at, like, the areas. I'm going to leave this handy. I'm going to get some foam adhesive. I added a dimension in the background when I added the pictures. So I'm going to need something that's going to help me pop those bobbins. This one here, gonna get with just one, but you're gonna have to help yourself with a little bit of glue. Like I said, mixed media makes things a little bit slippery, but just to make sure that it doesn't, like, come apart. And I don't, even though I'm not, I'm not a fan of yellow, I still want it to show. So just a little bit. So I'm gonna use different, I don't know if the word is heights, different widths of foam adhesive. So now it's gonna be here. So I'm gonna get a little bit of glue. Like I said, I'm helping myself with the extra glue because mixed media does tend to make things a little bit on the slippery side. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I do like that. Let's see which way this one. Why? Okay. Oh, I'm trying not to cover my mom's face. Okay, here again to the back, a little bit of glue just to help you make sure that it doesn't, move when you set it in place. I have a peeve about things like, where they have to sit and they look like, I don't like things covering faces or cutting faces. And I have a thing about, like, very, I try to be very careful not to have that. So you're gonna see that I move my picture so that I'm not covering faces or anything like that. But there we go. We're gonna go with this one here. So the pink is gonna sit at the bottom. I don't have mixed media here, so. And then the blue is going to sit a little bit higher. So I have mixed media here, a little dot. There we go. Okay, so let's see this. Sorry, I just have to find it. There's a tiny little. Okay, leave it there for now. I'm gonna lose the battle of finding, making sure it's covered completely. So let me just clean up this a bit. Okay, so move this out of the way and let's work on the title. Why there, it doesn't bug me. I might actually, don't mind my fingers, sorry about that. I'm gonna go with this. But I really think that it just has to be something. I'm just looking at the stuff that I have here. So in case, like, no, I don't like this. Move this one a little bit lower, which I can do. But it's too much. I think it's too much. I think I need something that it has less of it. So I think I want to add this here. So I'm just going to glue it for now. My title's going to go in the middle. I've made a decision. Okay. So get this out of that in there. Much better. So you can add your journaling. If you want to, you can even go like that. And that gives you space for your journaling. Well, for now, just gonna stay like that. You can add your title down here too if you want to. I mean, like I said, I am still, see, I like this green one too. Or you can add embellishments. We're gonna see right now. For my title, I see quite a few things here that I like. I need this button sticker too. My nephew turned 12, so I'm just going to add his favorite. I do like that. And I'm not gonna put favorite nephew because I have two and I don't have favorites. Which is one my favorite. I like favorite, so we're gonna pop it up. A little bit of foam adhesive behind it, and I'm gonna add a little bit of glue to the foam adhesive because I'm adding it to mixed media. So, and I'm going with this too because it's kind of neutral. It kind of looks like the pictures. Like I said, you're not gonna need much, and it's gonna cover that mistake that I made there. No mistake, it's just the ink ran the wrong way. Make sure that it's nice and straight. So let me just reach for a ruler. Give me 1 second. Otherwise, it's gonna drive me insane. So around 6 inches. See, I knew it. Press. Add some weight to it so the glue dries. So now we need stuff done on this. We're gonna need some heart. I have some puppy stickers here. I also have my letters here. We're gonna need some of this, but I'm gonna need my little heart here. So remember, I have green there. Let's see, move this out of the way. So let's go with some green. Or kind of tealish. Yeah, this one is moving. That's my green. I need some orange up there. I don't have orange, but I have yellow. Okay, and I need some blue, which I have this one that right there. That's it. You're not gonna need much. See? I still need to add more to it. Don't worry. Still more to it, but for now we're just gonna need some here. Let's see what we have. Low light, no. I like this fun, and because it's green, I think it's gonna be perfect here. Okay. I need something that was blue here. But I need some orange up there. Nothing too big, so I'm gonna go with this amazing. And I need something blue down here. Oh, I don't see something blue here. Let me see. Where's here? Go with white. White. And you see it? There's a word that says memory here. I'm just trying to find like an extra sentiment just to add to my title. You can add that there too. I'm just trying to see what I have here. Favorite. Favorite memory. That's a memory. There we go. Yeah, I like this memory. So let's go with some foam adhesive behind it. I thought I was going to use my alpha, but no. Add some extra. We need to add something down here. So let's see here. Special moment. And add a lens journal down here. So now we just need to add a few more things to finish this. Not a lot. Okay, so I think I need something here just to help me with this. So I'm just trying to see what I have. So here's some buttons here. So let me see if I find. I see some buttons here. So I have some pink. Which can go there. Let me see which I have some orange. I go there. I have some teal. And go over here. Let me see if I shake a few more. No, I like those. So that's gonna sit there. And then I'm gonna add, just to help me punch the color, this kind of enamel dot. So a yellowish one and kind of an orangey one up here. I'm gonna go with a green, kind of a tealish one over here. I'm gonna go with the blue. It's pink here, but it's okay. I'm not a blue one. And this light pink down here. And then so journal gonna fit there. It's done. So let me just double check. Oh, I need to attach this. I'm thinking, let me attach the little buttons. And we are almost I think we're done. I don't think there's much more that I can add. I think I need something here. So I'm just looking at it. I need something like here. So let me just see that. Oh, I know what I'm gonna add. And the puppy stickers. Get one of these little star things. The quilted design. There we go. With something that has that English look. There we go. Yay! What's that? Lines with journal. So just so it makes it easier for sometimes it's easy to visualize. It's gonna go to my sister's album. I'm not gonna write on it. She can write when she gets it. We just build the layouts. People put them in their album and write what they want. I'll have the stamp here. I think I might actually go and stamp something at the top. So if you see something that might change, is that I might stamp something at the top here. This line is so crooked, my goodness. Yeah. So if you have the stamps handy, I have mine. So I'm gonna actually, this is the pocket. Here. And here. I think I want to add something here. Hooray for today. Might as well add it because otherwise we're gonna forget. We're doing great on time, actually. See, I set up my phone to say it's an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. That's as long as I'm gonna take for today. So this is the April stamp set. Okay. And then for today, so that means I can add my lines with journal down there. And then what I'm going to add though, there's this little dotted line. Perfect. Okay. And put it away. And I'm done. Like I said, you could add more, but I will recommend not to, because then you're gonna take away from all the mixed media that you created on the background, just using the color kit. So today, well, like I said, the main focus of this was using the color kit and to create the background, to create my floss. So I think I did that. So in case you missed it, you can go back and watch it. But I used the stencil. I have it here. Sponges and my three powders to create the background. I'm gonna get it closer for you guys to see it. There is some definition of the stencil in the background, but there's also like this watercolor look going on. So it looks like it's broken and it's kind of changing in color as you go down the page, which is what I was hoping to achieve. And I love how this turned out. Like really happy that it actually came to mind, like came together as I had in mind. That's the best way to describe it. So I'm gonna flip the camera so I can see you. Takes one button for me. Let me just find it. There we go. So thank you guys for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, leave it. I'm not promising right now because it's about to rain, so it's really dark outside. So I'm not gonna take the pictures of it. I'm hoping tomorrow and then I can post it right away. But if you have any questions, please post them. I'm gonna say here, or you can put them in the Facebook group, and then I can help you if you have how do I build it or anything like that. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I know it might be a difficult time. But don't forget to check the next live session. That is Kimberly. I think she's coming up in a few days to show you a few ideas with the kit. And it's a beautiful kit. So make sure you check it out. And you see, perfect timing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you very soon. Take care, guys.